What's up, Poker Beast? Kato here, and today we're playing cards. Let's continue this win streak. Welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for being here. I am doing a $200 buy-in today. Let's get right into the action. The first hand of the session is Ace-5 offsuit. I'm in the big blind with my $200 starting stack. There's 4 limpers, the small blind calls, and I check. We're going to the flop 6 ways with $18 in the pot. The dealer puts out the 7 Ace-Jack rainbow board, and I'm going to lead out here for $12. Although my kicker's not very good, I still have the ace, and I want to thin the field. The middle position player calls, and the small blind calls. We're going to the turn 3 ways with $54 in the pot. The next card that's put out is the 2 of clubs. When the small blind checks to me, I decide it's alright to check back. We'll try to maybe get a street of value on the river, but I don't want to overinflate the pot with an ace with a terrible kicker. I only have 1 pair. No need to inflate the pot. Let's just try to get to the river safely. The river is the ace of spades. I'm starting to feel a little better about my hand, although most aces still beat me. I'm still not sure if I want to put any more money in this pot with a bet, but I don't have to when the small blind bets into me for $30. It's hard to fold away 3 aces, even with a bad kicker, so I decide to make the call. The middle position player folds away, $114 in the pot, and I get the bad news. The small blinds flop to set and river to boat with pocket 7s. I'm losing my first hand of the day. Just a few hands later in middle position, I look down at ace-king of spades. I have $139 in my stack, and I bet $15. I'm coming back for my money like the Kool-Aid man comes for a wall. There's no shortage of action when the hijack, big blind, and middle position player all make the call. We're headed 4 ways to a flop with $61 in the pot. The flop is beautiful. The dealer puts out king 6 ace rainbow, and when it checks to me, I'm going to continue betting. With 4 players in the pot, someone probably hit something, and I'm sure there's an ace out there that's willing to come along. I bet $30, and the middle position player makes the call. We're going heads up to the turn with $121 in the pot, and the dealer puts out the queen of spades. A beautiful card, no flushes possible, and all the combinations of ace-queen and king-queen just got a lot happier without realizing they're in big trouble. I'm heads up against the guy that just took my money with the full house, and he decides to bet into me $60, making the pot $181. I have no problem with this. I'm thrilled. I decide to go all in over the top of him, $94. He snap calls, $309 in the pot. With the river to come, it's the jack of clubs. I'm feeling great about this one. I'm probably in the lead. I flip my hand over, and my opponent shakes his head and reveals king queen of diamonds. I'm glad the queen came on the turn, or else he probably wouldn't have doubled me up. And this is the same gentleman who just took my chips the hand before. Our stack is now $309, and we're ready for the next hand. It comes in the form of 7-4 of hearts on the button. There's 2 limpers, and since I have the button, I decided to raise it up to $20. Probably not the best move, but I guess you could say I had a good feeling. The big blind makes the call, and everyone else folds away. We're headed to the flop, heads up with $47 in the pot. Did I mention I had a good feeling about this one? The dealer puts out 5, 7, 8, 2 hearts. I hit my middle pair and a straight flush draw. When the opponent checks to me, I'm going to continue betting $25. My opponent says, well, let's make this easy. And he rips it all in for $159. Usually when someone says that, it means they either have a monster, or maybe he's telling the truth and he has a draw, and he just wants to get it over with. See 2 cards. Regardless, my hand is super strong. I'm not going anywhere. I make the call. We're headed to the turn and river. We're going to see both cards. No more action. $365 in the pot. And my opponent tells me he has a straight draw with a pair. We bink the queen of hearts on the turn. And the river's the 4 diamonds. I'm scooping this one with my flush. It feels great. We're stacking up chips. And we're getting a little lucky. $454 now in my stack. The day gets even better when I get to move out of that god-awful seat and move to one with an angle that I know you and I love. I'm going for cinematic here, and the 3-seat delivers. We get a beauty in the cutoff, king jack of hearts, $454 in my stack. The under the gun player makes it 13, the middle position and the other middle position player call, and I'm going to 3-bet here. It's a perfect opportunity from the cutoff. I make it $60. Let me know what you think of the sizing. It's something I'm still working on and not very good at. The under the gun player decides to rip it all in. It's $109 on top. I'm not thrilled about this situation, but I think I'm getting the odds to call, and I have a pretty good hand. The problem is, I don't know this player, and racing and then going all in from under the gun is very strong. I might even be absolutely dominated. I decide to make the call, $321 in the pot, and we're going to a full run out. Hopefully, we spike something we like. I love to see that card. Another one. I seem to be whispering sweet somethings to the poker gods, and they're listening and liking it. My opponent shows ace-queen of diamonds. I wasn't in that bad a shape, and luckily, I came out ahead. I'm sitting on $640, more than tripled my original buy-in, and my multi-day heater is stronger than a Siberian snowplows. The next hand I look at is king 6 of spades and the hijack. There's a straddle on the pot, and when it folds to me, I've raised $13 with my suited king. The cutoff calls and the button calls, we're going 3 ways to a flop. The dealer puts out Queen Jack 6 rainbow. I have bottom pair and backdoor straight and flush draws. I check, and the opponent in the cutoff bets 15. The button makes the call, and I decide to get stupidly creative here and raise to 60. I guess I have a little bit of equity that could be realized if I make a straight flush or 2 pair, maybe 3 of a kind, but I should be looking for better spots to send my bluff. The opponent in the cutoff makes the call, and the button thinks about it for a while, and he makes the call as well. I've already decided that if the turn isn't a king, a 6, a 10, or a spade, I'm just going to give up. I already regret putting $60 in the pot, and when the dealer puts out the 2 of hearts, I'm kind of relieved. I didn't want to commit any more money to this pot, and any of those cards may not give me anything by the river, and I would just be firing away with king high. When it checks around, it goes to the river, and the dealer puts out the 7 of clubs. The turn and river were essentially blanks, probably not improving anyone's hand past the flop. And so I think maybe I should get creative again. I pull out a bunch of chips, and I'm really thinking about going for a raise. I notice that the player to my left in the cutoff is very interested in what I'm doing, and he's very serious. And so I decide, you know what? Go back to the basics. One of your most fundamental rules is don't put money in the pot if you don't have anything. So I decide to check, and my opponent in the cutoff goes in for $200. It's a pot-sized bet. It could totally be a bluff, but it doesn't matter. I have nothing, and I'm going to throw this hand away. The next hand we look at is the absolutely gorgeous ace-king of hearts. The under the gun and the cutoff both limp in, and the button raises to $20. I think that I should definitely be 3-betting here, out of position with such a premium hand, but I'm still having trouble playing ace-king, and so I decided to just flat call, which I'm not going to be doing that in the future, hopefully. We're going to the flop, heads up with $50 in the pot. I'm out of position, and I decide to check in the dark. I've done this a few times in the vlog, and I've always been told it's an absolutely terrible idea. I think the reason I do it is because it allows me to essentially not act first. I'm probably going to be checking most all of my range anyways, and when I check in the dark, my opponent is first to act. I know it sounds weird, but that was my logic. I'm going to stop doing it, so don't worry. The dealer puts out the flop, king 3-9, two-tone. I've already checked, and my opponent bets $25. I could raise here, but I think that the board's pretty safe. Rather than check raising him here, I think if I check raise him on the turn, I'll get a little extra value, so I just make the call. The turn comes out the jack of hearts, and again I check in the dark like a donkey, hoping that my opponent thinks I'm weak, but he checks back behind. I'm slowly losing control of this hand. I'm playing it all wrong. The river is the 10 of diamonds, one of the worst cards in the deck. There are so many hands that beat me, and I check to him again, and he bets out $65. He could have almost any Broadway combination and have me beat. He was the original pre-flop raiser. I'm not sure what to do, and so I do what I do, and I'm not sure what to do. I fold. If I would have just 3-bet pre-flop or not checked in the dark, the hand could have gone a lot differently. The next hand I look at is pocket kings in the low jack. I have $522 in my stack, and when the middle position player limps, I decide to bump it up to $15. The small blind, the big blind, and the middle position player all make the call. We're headed 4 ways to a flop with $60 in the pot. Maybe I should have raised more pre-flop, but I'm trying to do standard raises across my whole range. The dealer puts out 7-4-3 rainbow, and the middle position player decides to open the action for $25. I could raise here, I wanted to raise here, but I'm thinking this board hits the small blind, big blind, and the middle positions ranges a lot better than it hits mine. There could be snakes in the grass. So I just decided to make the call, see what develops on the turn, and the rest of the action on the flop. What happens is the small blind and the big blind both make the call. We're still going 4 ways to the turn with $160 in the pot. The turn is the 2 of hearts, and once again, the middle position player leads out for $50. I've had enough of this. Not everyone has a made hand. There are definitely some draws out there, and I could be beat, but I also have pocket kings. I need to thin the field. I need to put some pressure on my opponents. I need to take initiative of the pot. I guess I could always fold away if someone decides to go over the top of me, but right now, I need to make my move. I decide $50 is not enough. I'm going to put $100 on top. I raise to $150. The small blind goes all in for his remaining $80, and everyone else folds away. The dealer piles the chips in the pot and deals the river. It's the 5 of spades. My opponent had 7-8 of hearts. He flopped top pair and turned a flush draw. Luckily, he missed all of his outs, and I'm scooping another pot. A pretty good size one at that. My chip stack has turned into a tower, $632. The next hand I look down at is ace jack of diamonds in the cutoff. The middle position player and the hijack limp, and I make it $20. $30 in the pot, the button calls, as well as the small blind and the middle position player. We're headed 4 ways to the flop with $86 in the pot. The board comes out 8-3-4 rainbow. Although it doesn't help, I do have a backdoor flush draw and 2 overcards. When it checks to me, I decide to bet $45, keeping the initiative, and the small blind goes all in for 80 total. It's not the best news. I was hoping to take it down on the flop, but now I have to commit $35 more to win 246. It's a no-brainer, and so I make the call. I'm definitely going to need to improve, and when the river is the jack of hearts, I do. I have top, and top's good. I scoop another pot. This one, I got lucky on. After a few orbits, the cards stop coming my way. I want to book a win, continue the win streak, and so I go home, cashing out my chips for cold hard cash. All right, session over. The win streak is still alive. I originally bought it for 200, 770, 570 profit. If you're enjoying this content, it really helps the algorithm if you subscribe, if you like, leave a thumbs up on the video. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to build an awesome community. I'm trying to turn us all into PokerBEASTs. So if you could help me in any way, I would really appreciate it. See you next episode. Kato out.